rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Hey, do you like the background? Buddy, once again, comes through in a clutch with a new bar background. So there you go. I know Buddy's in the chat. It's a good thing to see him there. Thank you, sir, for all of the things that you have done for me in particular in this channel as well. So, just keep that in mind as you go forward. Lots of stuff going on there. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance, which also, by the way, was suggested by Buddy. He's touched so much. He has touched so much on this channel. It's just, it's just amazing. So anyway, I wanted to, go ahead and let's kick things off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance is done by, none other than Judge Wild. Judge Wild would like to regale you with his, radio voice. If you haven't checked out, by the way, his shows on YouTube, here on Rumble, you really should. He streams, I think, 3 or 4 times a day, a couple of different shows, but if all you have to do is search up Judge, and yes, that is spelled like a judge, like an actual jurist, not like Ketanji Brown Jackson. And the last name is Wild, W-Y-L-D. And if you go and check him out on this channel, I'm sure he would definitely appreciate it. So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get Judge Wild up here. If you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one, like me, and follow along with Judge. Well, place your hand over your heart, of course, and follow along with Judge as he recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh yeah, hurrah!
All right, and of course, we thank you, Judge, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style, and then take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and send it or attach it to an email. Send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation. Still only at 16. I need 17 and 18. I'm shooting for 20, but I need 17 and 18. Might as well get those done. I know I got a couple of regulars in the chat that haven't turned anything in yet. So you need to go ahead and get those done. All right. I'm sorry about the black shirt. I am wearing the shirt, the American Perspective logoed shirt. I'm wearing it, and I just realized that whenever I wear black and I switch scenes or switch screens, if I'm behind a black background, I'll become like the disembodied head. The kinds of things that I usually do for Halloween and stuff like that. Yeah, I get a disembodied head sometimes when I go against a black background. So let's hope that doesn't happen too often tonight. All right, tonight's headline sponsor is the Institute on the Constitution. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission, and that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, and that is the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online. And then while you are there, to sign up, and while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online to get great content to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online. Or if you just want to purchase this fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, go to constitution.americanperspective.online. And this is 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. It's got no cheap glue here. It's stitched all the way through the leather and the pages contained within. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and workmanship. Workmanship defects. And if you have a problem, you can go ahead and send it back to the manufacturer, and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It is buddy tested, buddy approved, Billy tasted, Billy approved, and my youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you to study for your civics badge in Scouts, as well as any kind of civics exam that you may have. It has sexy rounded corners, according to all of my Whiskey Warrior P1s. And also don't forget all the amendments are in numerical order, Roman numerical order. It is Democrat repellent, and will cause gastrointestinal issues for Democrats when they see this. I'm trying to remember everything that my Whiskey Warrior P1s come up with. But anyway, go and check this out. If you want to support the show, go and support the show with this. Go and check this out. Go to constitution.americanperspective.online, and also go and check out the Institute on the Constitution itself and all of their offerings, because they do a fantastic job. And I am proud and thankful to be a part of their brand ambassadorship, or be an affiliate. There we go. I haven't been a brand ambassador in a while other than my own brand. I'm an ambassador of my own brand. How do you like that? That's fantastic. Anyway, I got a couple of new spots that have popped up in my whiskey things here. This is nice. I got choices. We'll have to check that out at the bottom of the hour. But anyway, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. So there was a horrific shooting in New York City yesterday. It was breaking news as I was on the show. I think it was like they were starting to get breaking news and stuff like that about it. But anyway, apparently it was in an office building. A NYPD officer was killed. Apparently there were 3 other dead, or 4 total dead is what I'm getting here. This individual just walked right into a Midtown Manhattan office building on Monday and rode the elevator up, got off on a floor. It wasn't the floor that they think he was going to go to, but he stepped out onto the floor and just started firing. Apparently, there was a note that was left, and it seems that he was, well, first of all, he's been identified as a man that was a former, let's see, was it here? He's a former Las Vegas casino security guard, and he apparently has a mental health history, meaning that that's the nice way of saying that he's had some mental issues in the past. But apparently he left a note where he was blaming the NFL for some sort of a brain injury. And this is according to New York City Mayor Eric Adams. And by the way, the NFL was actually in the building that he was in. It was their headquarters in New York City. And he, like I said, they assume that he was going toward those, going up to the floor for where the NFL was, but yeah, it didn't. He apparently got off on the wrong floor. So I may have misreported the number. I now see another update saying that there's actually 5 total that have died. So the number is 4 or 5, and that's including the New York Police Department. New York Police Department. But anyway, totally sad. Events like this are all sad. They just are. And they're indicative of a big problem, of course, that we have in our society today, which happens to be dealing with mental health issues. That is like the number one challenge that we have with all of these people, is because of the fact that, and that's the one thread, the one major thread that all of these shooters have in common. Every single one of them has some sort of a mental health issue. You would think that this would be a spur for people to attempt to try and fix the mental health problems that we have. And people want to blame it, go back to the 80s when Ronald Reagan was in office and Congress cut off funding for all of the public sanitariums that we had, or sanatoriums, not sanitariums, but sanatoriums that we had, that we used to have, the crazy houses that we used to have. But they try to blame Reagan for that. I just want to remind everybody that Congress is the one that holds the purse. Congress is the one that wrote those laws. Congress was being controlled by the Democrats back then. So you can blame Ronald Reagan all you want. It happened during his presidency, yes, but it was the Congress who did it. And well, also too, a lot of people don't seem to understand is that while there have been significant improvements in things such as the pads and the safety gear that the football folks wear, or actually just about any sport for the most part would wear, the problem is you're getting people who are hyped up on, enhanced drugs. You've got these people who essentially they're realistically, they're hitting harder. They're getting hit harder. And no matter how many rules and things like that you have for it, I mean, the penalties really don't amount to, because you can't get a penalty until the hit's already been taken. And unfortunately, many of these people are remnants of the older era where the pads and everything weren't as state of the art as they are today. And so, yeah. But all of this, of course, does not preclude even the conversation with regards to mental health issues in this country, and making sure that we work on mental health issues, that we work on trying to get better mental health, better identifications of mental health challenges in the world that we live in today. Instead of that, the leftist news media, in particular, I think it was CNN or maybe CBS, one of the C's, And they identified the man. They had him on what was building surveillance video, and they identified him as a white male. Now, I don't know how the hell you can do that, because if you look at the image that the gentleman was, if you look at his image, which I'm not going to show you, but it's out there. Go and take a look. I mean, it's there. But this guy, he literally is not. And you can clearly see it in the picture. Like, he is clearly not a white male. But they went ahead and ran with it anyway. I just, it is really, I'm serious. It is really sick and disgusting in this today's day and age that that's all that they want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the fact that, hey, we need to, we need to make sure that we provide mental health, that we, and again, they even, I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't seen a whole bunch of calls for like gun control, because even in the image he's walking in, he does have a long rifle. I don't even understand how he was able to actually get as far as he did. I mean, New York, again, is a gun-free zone. He's a gun-free zone. And you're going to sit here and tell me that, yeah, criminals are going to respect that gun-free zone and so on and so forth. He walked in. You could see it. He walked in with a long rifle. It looks, at least it appeared to me, based on the grainy surveillance video that I did see. It appears to be a AR platform. Don't know what caliber. But he's walking in as though it's like, oh, there's no big deal. Well, I thought this was a gun-free zone. I thought that New York had strict gun laws. And yet you're going to sit here and blame the gun rather than the perpetrator. And what's even better is that they're no longer really blaming the perpetrator anymore either, because the guy is obviously not the correct skin color to fit the narrative. And this is the problem with our society today. The first thing that they do is they jump to the fact that, hey, this guy, he fits the narrative, doesn't fit the narrative. Oh, yeah, we're no longer going to worry about that. Really? Well, there's also another story. I mean, as horrific as this is, and keep in mind, I mean, because of the fact that this happened in New York City, because of the fact that this happened in a high-rise building and apparently was performed by a person who is non-white, it's not going to gain the same kind of traction that it would have had it been a, angry white shooter. I mean, just remember, the guy that killed the Minnesota folks, that story is gone. And why is that story gone? Because the guy is clearly, the shooter in that instance, in the Minnesota instance, is clearly a mental health problem. Because he was under the misguided and obviously we hope it's fallacy, but misguided belief that Tim Walz instructed him to do this. Again, we're dealing with mental health issues. And until we can get off the idea that this is a white issue, a black issue, a male issue, if we get off of all of that, or a gun issue, if we can get off of all of that and get down to what's the real deal here is the mental health problems that these people are facing. Every single one of them has a mental health issue and has been known to law enforcement, has been known to the mental health communities, has been known to somebody in authority, generally speaking. This guy, on the other hand, I don't know. I mean, he obviously has a mental health history. So if he has a mental health issue, then obviously he was known by somebody. But what's even worse, though, is when you have another incident, and this one in particular is particularly heinous, by the way. There was a couple, a man and a woman together. And for whatever reason, early reports are saying that the man got into a altercation with an individual. He himself may have been drunk. He himself may have instigated the situation. But even in the case that he might have instigated the argument and instigated the situation, this does not mean that there is a cause for this, what I'm about to tell you, this level of violence that comes out of this. Apparently, in Cincinnati, there was a white man and a white woman. They were at some sort of a concert, I believe, or some event. Let's just call it an event. They were at some event. And apparently the male of the pair got into it with a black male, and the two of them were in some sort of an argument. Now, early reports are saying that the two males, they argued. The black male then left, but then came back. And when he came back, when he came back, he brought a bunch of his friends with him, and they proceeded to curb stomp this guy. I'm being told it was a blues concert. But they proceeded to stomp this guy. Now, look, again, keep in mind, societal standards have gone down a lot in the last 20 or 30 years. I can remember that when kids on the playground, even teenagers, sometimes even men, I had my share of bar fight altercations and things like that. And the thing about it is that, hey, when you get into some sort of a bar fight, that's fine. And usually one-on-one is the way that it goes. Hey, the two people who have the beef, all right, let them go to fisticuffs if they're going to go to that level. They beat on each other for a little bit, and then they stop because they're no longer hurting anybody, and, or they're hurting each other, even themselves, in continuing the fight. And then after the fight's over, you shake hands, everything's cool, you go back to drinking. Or whatever it was that you were doing before. But nowadays, it seems like that kind of level of control is no longer prevalent. Or even available to be an option in this environment. Because what you end up with is you go and you sit there and you end up in a situation where it's, not 1-on-1 or even 2-on-1. It's 3-on-1, 4-on-1, 6-on-1, a whole mob on one. Now, what used to be the rule, which was essentially that, hey, women are pretty much off limits. Feminism has destroyed that now. Because apparently the female of this white pair, and I'm only calling out their skin color because it's the best way to describe them, but apparently the female reportedly tried to jump in and stop the stomping 4-on-1, 6-on-1 of her boyfriend, friend, whatever. We don't even know what their association really was. The woman has been identified as a single mom. But she's sitting there and she gets stomped as well. She gets almost completely knocked out. There's images of her laying on the pavement, bleeding, while the other guy is getting, completely stomped. And then what's even worse, that's bad enough, okay? That stuff is definitely bad enough. But what's even worse in this entire situation is there were 100 witnesses reportedly, according to the police, there were 100 people standing around, some even filming this thing, because realistically, the police didn't even know that the altercation happened until the video went viral, at least according to the police chief. But here's the thing. 100 people are standing there watching this thing, and there was only one single call to 911. One singular call. That's 1%. 1% of the individuals who were in and around this thing, who witnessed it, bothered to even call 911 on their phone. And we know everybody has a phone. Hell, even the lowest income individual gets them handed out to them by the government. This is the sickness of society, folks. This is the sickness that we have in our society these days. People, look, you want to sit here and talk about how, divided we are as a country and everything else? This is an example of the social disease that we currently have in this environment, even within our borders. These people sitting here who are, you get into an argument, you get in a verbal altercation, great. Again, like I said, if it comes to blows, I had a buddy of mine in Texas, just to give you a story, while I was in the service. Now, I had a broken finger at the time, so my hand was casted up and I couldn't move it. But my buddy apparently had another buddy who got into it with this other guy. And this other guy had a friend, and so basically the four of them took it outside and they were going to fight in a parking lot. Okay, no big deal. I was there with at the time, my girlfriend. It wasn't Mrs. Whiskey, but it was somebody else. And I walked out of the bar, and there were two other guys that walked out of the bar, and we just sort of stood there. Now, this was in Texas, so of course they had mock tie-up posts in the front, kind of like a fence in a way. But we're leaning on that fence, and the two guys, they look over at me, and they're like, "Hey, are you friends with one of them?" Meaning the opponents of their buddy. And I said, "Well, yeah, I'm a friend of him." And they go, "Well, are you planning on jumping in?" And I said, "Why? It's not my beef." I go, "And as far as I'm concerned, it's even Steven right now, 2-on-2. So whatever happens, happens. I'm certainly not going to, get into it." And they looked at, and I said, Are you guys planning on it? Because obviously that's going to change my choice. And they looked at me and they were just like, "Nah, we're good, man. We're just going to stand here and watch." And that's the way it should be. Equal, fair. Fair kind of is relative depending upon the skill set of the two individuals involved. But still, the point being is that, hey, one-on-one, cool. As long as the numbers are the same and nobody pulls out a weapon, you're good to go. That's the way it used to be. And once you got done, again, like I said, you shook hands. You said, "Okay, hey, we got it out of us." We shook hands, and maybe, if you were lucky, you went back in and you bought each other a beer. Not anymore. Anymore, the minute that you get into an altercation, the other person pulls out a gun and shoots you dead. Or pulls out a knife and knifes you. All over what would be simple words and angry emotions. This is the state of our society today. And again, like I said, just the mere fact that this woman who tried to break it up got essentially knocked out, knocked to the pavement, and is just like laying there bleeding. And nobody bothers to call 911. Not a single well, one person did. Folks, you wonder why I don't like to go into cities, why I don't like to go into crowded areas, like why I don't care to go places that most people congregate. That's the reason. You never ever know whether there is a literal stinking moron who decides that just because you looked at them wrong, you might even not even be aware of the fact that you even looked their direction, but you looked at them wrong, and all of a sudden you're being shot in the back for a bunch of crap. This is the state of our society today. And all of this happens to be, mainly in my particular opinion, based on the fact that we have moved away from things like integrity, ethics, honor, morals, standards, accountability, responsibility. Because all of those key buzzwords that everybody seems to want to talk about is gone. It's gone. And we got to figure out a way to get it back. If we're going to survive, meaning America is going to survive as a civilized society, we need to start acting like it. We need to start acting like the civilized society that we were intended to be. This is disgusting and horrible, folks. And yet not a single national media attention on this last one, the two couples. Now, again, it doesn't really matter. Who cares what the altercation was really about? Nobody deserves 6-on-1. Nobody deserves to be curb stomped like that. None. And that's because we've lost the sense. The reality of it is that we've lost the sense of honor, dignity, again, integrity, ethics, morals, standards. It's all gone. All right. Let me go ahead and hit one of these new ads here. Let's talk about, let's see, which one of these? Oh, here we go. I don't know what this is, but this is a good one. Let's see. No. All right. All right, let's go to this one. Here we go. New advertiser for me here on the program. All right, this segment, well, I got to read the directions here. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. So this segment is brought to you by Pickaxe, the free speech social media platform that's not run by bots, big tech, or the censorship industrial complex. If you're on Rumble, that means right here with you and me, right here. All right. Pickaxe is your next move. Think of it like X and Substack had a baby, but with more freedom and smarter tools. You can post your Rumble videos directly in the feed, and they actually play in the feed with no algorithms hiding your content. Even better, with their new beta feature, you can connect your Rumble channel, so your videos and live streams auto-post. Hey, maybe I should look into this, really. Plus, full article creation, paywalls, revenue-sharing ads, and the ability to have ads on your content with your own promo codes and tracking links, so you keep full commissions on sales. And yeah, free blue check verification so bots and burner accounts don't hijack the conversation. Pickaxe doesn't manipulate your search. It amplifies your voice, freedom of speech, and freedom of reach. There we go. Freedom of speech and freedom of reach. So check it out now at pickaxe.com. That's Pickaxe, Pickax.com. Looks like this is another social media outlet, but they're integrating with Rumble, which is cool. So go and check out Pickaxe.com and take your voice back. You know, I'm going to go and take a look at that, and I'll tell you what I find when I get an opportunity to go ahead and do that. Pickaxe.com. Well, this is from the Moron Files. That's right. God, that's so fresh, so face. That's right. She is so fresh, so fresh, so fresh, so face, so moronic. That's right. Oh my gosh, can you imagine this woman? Jeez. Jasmine Crockett apparently says that she deserved the Oversight Committee top spot. Get this, not because she's qualified, not because she's smarter than everybody else, not because she's been in Congress longer than everybody else. We know that's not the case. Not that she's been on the Oversight Committee for longer than everybody else. She needs to have that spot because of her large social media following. Talk about calling out the whole DEI. She wants to be on the top Oversight Committee spot because of the fact that she has something that is entirely irrelevant to the Oversight Committee's operations and business. Folks, this is how stupid the left is. This is why she's part of the Moron Files. In fact, if I had, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should create a ranking system, like who has the gold trophy, silver trophy, bronze trophy, etc. And bam, awesome idea. That's right. Maybe this is going to become a new segment. I think I like this. Bam says he needs an intro to the Moron Files with a deep voice and a pick of screaming liberals. I think I'm going to get Steven Stiles on that. We're gonna come up with something. I am. We're gonna come up with something. I gotta get a stinger and everything else. We're gonna call it the Moron Files. That's right. So anyway, what kind of sense does this make? Seriously, what kind of sense does this make? Here, she revealed to The Atlantic, oh, there's a good, reliable paper. Anyway, in a recent profile that she deserved that top Democrat spot on the House Oversight Committee due to her large follower count. That's it. Really? Come on. This is no different than me sitting here saying, hey, guess what? Just because I have red, white, and blue in my logo, I need to be plastered everywhere on all, social media outlets that have to deal with America, Americanism, everything America. I need to be there. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Oh my gosh. Anyway, she is such a moron. And do you know there are people out there, seriously, there are people out there who are sitting here thinking that she should run for president. She's probably just as bad, if not worse, than either AOC or, yes, that's right, Kamala Harris. My God. Oh, just because I have a social media following, I need to be in. Please give me a break. Oh my God. Oh, here's another groaner. Yeah. I don't know if anybody has seen this ad yet. I think I need to. Let me do this because I didn't close off the other one. So here we go. Let me go ahead and show you this this ad. Yeah, let's go ahead and watch this ad. Here, it's really quick.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney, Casper Keynes.
Okay. Hold up. I'm not going to show you this other one. But that first one that I showed you, it basically is Sydney Sweeney. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a Sydney Sweeney and I wasn't even aware that she even existed until this happened. Just because I'm just not, I don't watch anything that she's probably been in. But reportedly, from my understanding, is she is kind of like, I don't know, Megan Fox, Brooke Shields, Christy Brinkley. She is an attractive young woman, or at least, some people think of her as attractive, but she is an attractive young woman. She's an actress. She is now a model for, obviously, American Eagle, which is where this ad came from. But you got to understand, advertisers, what they do is they need to do something to catch your attention. Okay? To catch your attention. And that particular ad, what she was doing is she was basically seductively zipping up her jeans. She was in a jean shirt, which, by the way, if they're coming back in style, I'm going to love it because I used to love my jean shirts. But anyway, she has the shirt is actually open to where you can see like inside of her cleavage. So the entire imagery that is being put down here, okay, it's done for a reason. Sex sells, folks. I can guarantee you it's no surprise to anyone who grew up in the 80s or the 70s or anything else. Sex sells. It just does. And so you sit here and you look at this ad. Now, that's honestly, that's not the part that they were freaking out about. Okay? That's not the part that they were freaking out about. What they're freaking out about is what was being said. Which is what she did is she, and this is, of course, on the advertisers for American Eagle, she played on the word jeans. Where in the ad, she was describing items like blonde hair, blue eyes, things like that were essentially are literally tied to your genes, Genes. But the play on words here, it is designed to get you to think genes. And what they're doing is they're attempting to connect within any male psyche, because again, this is really kind of focused on the males, although it's also focused on the females, because for the women want to wear these jeans because it'll make men think they're sexy. That's the whole, that's the message that is trying to get out. But the left, they glom onto the idea that, oh my gosh, they're using a blonde woman who is blue-eyed and white. So it's automatically that American Eagle is immediately Nazi. Does anybody remember the Brooke Shields Calvin Klein ad? Where she was shown putting on a pair of Calvin Klein jeans, turning around and saying, or looking at the camera, and saying, nothing gets between me and my Calvin Kleins. You ever remember that? I mean, folks, oh my gosh, you're going to sit here. And now, also, too, don't forget that for the past, 4 or 5 years, we have literally had almost zero commercials that came out, with white people in them. They were all people of color. They were all people who were LGBTQ. There was, the only white person that I think that was in the ads for like 2 or 3 years was Dylan Mulvaney, and he freaking screwed up the damn Bud Light commercials. Oh, and I can't forget, because I have a lot of female women watchers, you forget the whole Calvin Klein underwear commercials? I mean, Marky Mark, Mark Wahlberg, he featured in a lot of them. I mean, seriously, come on, folks, please. Leftists, quit getting so bent out of shape on something like that. I mean, as Gabriel Iglesias once pointed out, in Mexico, if you watch Mexican ads, the entire 30-second ad for like 28 seconds is nothing but a suggestion of sex in some way, shape, or form. And it's like the last 2 seconds of the ad, that you actually know what the ad's about. I mean, seriously. You people, all you want to do is look for something that realistically isn't there. You're looking for a reason to be pissed off about something that isn't there. Now, as a conservative Christian who believes that a lot of these kinds of things, probably shouldn't be shown, because let's be honest, you could just about use that ad for like an OnlyFans model. Like an OnlyFans model could potentially copy that and use that as their teaser to get guys to like go and watch them. I mean, how many times have you seen, even on X and social media and so on and so forth, how many times have you seen women who are, just bearing areas of the body that would usually be covered? And I'm not talking like the sexual organs, but just the hint of it. I mean, shoot, even on the red carpet, you've had dresses. Seriously, you've had dresses that were made out of mesh. Hell, P. Diddy had his girlfriend or wife or whatever here recently. She walked in and she was in literally a mesh fishnet kind of dress that left zero to the imagination. To sit here and be complaining about this, and to complain about the double entendre that they were using in the terms jeans and jeans, even though factually what the line was talking about is correct. And it just because it happens to be that she is a blonde white woman, I mean, you could have done the exact same thing with a black woman. She could have said, my skin color, my eye color being brown, my hair being all crinkly, those are the cause of jeans. I prefer blue. You could do the exact same thing. It's like, come on. I mean, this is part of the reason why Colbert and everybody else is no longer funny, because you can't talk about this stuff for whatever reason, because these objectionable morons who sit there to, oh my gosh, you said, oh my gosh, you said that, that's racist, that's Nazis. She isn't talking about the master race. She isn't talking about trying to wipe out other races. She's talking about frickin' jeans. That's it. Blue jeans. She's trying to sell blue jeans. She's trying to give an image of blue jeans are sexy to women so that they'll buy them, so that they'll go. Because one of the other ads that she's standing in front of a mirror and she talks about how the jeans make her butt look good. I mean, really? Come on. This is so crappy. I can't even imagine. This is so dumb. You people are just so damn stupid. Oh, by the way, just so you know, my chat is nuts. They're going crazy right now over all of the commercials that used to be in the 80s. They're going to go and search them down. Find all the YouTube commercials with Marky Mark and his Calvin Kleins. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, here's another one for the Moron Files. Yeah. And this is a judge. All right. You've seen her face before, and believe me, after watching that last thing, you look at this face and whew. Anyway, looking at this face and you listen to what she did. So this woman, Judge Indira Talwani, she expands an order that she put out that mandates that Medicaid funding has to go for all Planned Parenthood clinics. Now, keep in mind, there was a law that was passed here recently a law that was passed here recently that defunded Planned Parenthood clinics. Okay. And she decided to go ahead and completely block that provision of the big, beautiful bill, saying that it's unconstitutional. Yeah, lady, you seriously need a lesson in what is constitutional and what is not. Because honestly, you are so far off the freaking reservation, chick. You're not even in the ballpark. You're not even in the stadium. You're not even in the city that the stadium is in. In fact, I don't even think you're in the state that the city of the stadium. Oh my gosh. First of all, Congress passed it. Congress, you know, the legislative body that passes that law. And I dare you to find, lady, I dare you to find somewhere in Article 1, Section 8, or I'll even expand it, anywhere within the Constitution that talks about funding Planned Parenthood is a requirement of the federal government. I'm asking that question. Where is it within the Constitution that we have to fund Planned Parenthood? Where is it? Because if it doesn't show up there, and I guarantee it doesn't, but if it doesn't show up there, then guess what? Congress makes the laws. Congress can rescind the laws. There is no constitutional amendment. There is nothing in the 27 amendments in the original Constitution that even remotely could be applied to Planned Parenthood. There's not even remotely anything that could be applied to healthcare itself. There is not one single thing in the Constitution that calls out for anything in terms of healthcare. And see, this is part of my problem. This is why I'm sitting here and I'm saying, hey, right-wing lawyers, anyone who is a strict constitutionalist lawyer, why are you not suing the federal government for creating these unconstitutional laws and utilizing what is probably one of the most powerful, and realistically, any of the 10 amendments or first 10 amendments are definitely powerful. But one of the more powerful ones of the 10 amendments, the first 10, known as the Bill of Rights, that basically states without unequivocal question that if it's not part of the Constitution, then it falls to the states and to the people to decide. I just can't. I can't imagine where this woman is coming from. Yeah. She's claiming that the whole thing has regards to the fact that the defendants, which is Planned Parenthood, but basically they're saying that they're granting preliminary relief, by the way, for this. She's granting this preliminary relief for exclusion from reimbursements under the Medicaid program, where plaintiffs have established a substantial likelihood that they will succeed in establishing that such a targeted exclusion violates the United States Constitution. What exclusion are you talking about? You're not even in the Constitution. She is freaking ridiculous. And what's even worse is the fact that she's doing it again to Congress. Man, sometimes I just think I should be sitting in some of these legal rooms. I'd like to stand up and show, hey, here's the Constitution, judge. Here, I'll give you, by the way, I'll give you this copy. Show me where in the Constitution that it states that Planned Parenthood needs to be funded. Or any health care. Show me where that needs, where it is a requirement of the federal government to fund all of that. Again, another moron. Another freaking moron. we have got to get rid of these judges. We really do. We have to get rid of them. All right. In another win, potential coming win for Trump, you know how Columbia bent over backwards? Columbia, the university, bent over backwards, spent $200 million or $220 million, whatever it was, bent over backwards for the to get rid of the lawsuit that Trump and Trump's DOJ was coming. Well, now Harvard has changed its tune. No longer are they going to be standing the line. Yeah. Apparently, Harvard is now willing to surrender, even if it costs them $500 million. Now, keep in mind, they were reportedly had like a 53 or 54 or $55 billion endowment. So $550 million is nothing to them. But yeah. Harvard University is reportedly considering spending up to $500 million to settle its ongoing dispute with the Trump administration. This is according to the New York Times. They say after previously vowing not to comply with the administration, Harvard is now open to a deal. The Times reported yesterday, citing 4 people familiar with the negotiations. The Trump administration has been targeting the Ivy League university since April, when it declared the school violated civil rights in its lack of response to campus anti-Semitism. Harvard is reluctant to pay the federal government directly, and the negotiations are ongoing. So, yeah, there you go. Now, a spokesperson or a spokesman for the White House did not confirm to the Daily Caller whether or not a deal was actually on the horizon, but they did say they are confident that one is possible to happen. Now, Harvard itself did not respond to the Daily Caller's request for comment, but it looks like Trump might be racking up another win. Another win here for this. Well, you know, I got to say, Trump was right. Maybe we're going to sit here and get tired of winning. Let's see. Last little bit here, a couple of things just to note. Apparently, there's a new study out that shows a $500 billion shift in wealth from Americans running from blue states. They're taking with them hundreds of billions of dollars worth of personal income. The red states are enjoying a surge of this new economic activity, according to a new database. So this database was announced by former economic advisor Steve Moore and Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin on Thursday via a program called, or a nonprofit called Unleash Prosperity. The database, called Vote With Your Feet, tracked the domestic migration of Americans from the decade from 2012 to 2022. The IRS data shows the movement of people within the United States and breaks the migration down in terms of aggregated gross income, either gained or lost, as people move between the states. So, yeah. People are voting with their feet, literally. They're leaving these blue states. Good thing. And a positive note, consumer confidence unexpectedly jumps on rising hopes for jobs and business conditions. Remember that I keep telling you, in terms of the economic situation, if the economy stays the same as it is or gets better, Trump and the GOP will likely have a good midterm. Now, whether or not that actually means that they don't lose the House or the Senate, I don't know, but they'll at least have a good midterm. If the economy goes to crap between now and then the GOP might have some serious problems, because unfortunately, while Trump has done great on the immigration policy, he needs to follow that up with the economic policies as well. in order for those to help it out. But it looks like, at least for right now, consumer confidence is rising. And it rose more than expected in July, according to the Consumer Confidence Index, which climbed to 97.2 this month, up from a revised number of 95.2 in June. Economists originally had a forecast of 95.8. Things are getting good, people. America is getting back. We're starting to get back to where we need to be. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search for the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, too, if you haven't already, hit those thumbs up, or if you really want to, a thumbs down across all of my outlets, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, and, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. I do not have a pet of the week. I know Bonnie or Amy got busy. I'll have to find one or something, hopefully. But anyway, we will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.